This conference will now be recorded.
Yay! So, welcome to tonight's meeting. This is the AnCan MS group, and we'll just go around and start with introductions. John, do you want to go first?
Yeah, hi. Oh, I moved my camera, by the way, so it's a weird thing to look around. I'm John. I'm from Michigan. I have relapsed remitting disease. I was diagnosed in 2016, and I'm currently on Zeposia.
Yay! Do you need time to talk tonight?
Um, Not really. I'll just kind of hang out.
All right,
And
excellent,
if something bubbles to the top, you'll be the first one to know.
super, thank you. And hi, Marie. Do you want to go ahead?
Okay. Hi, I am Murray Carpenter from New Jersey, and I have progressive MS, and I'm on Ocrevus right now.
Excellent.
I don't have anything to uh talk about today.
And you'll just chime in when it's time, right,
Yeah.
Marie? All right, excellent. And Frank, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name's Frank Austin. I'm from a little town in the middle of Kansas, Plainville, Kansas. What more can you ask for out in the high plains? I've had I've had MS since I was diagnosed in 1997. I am on absolutely nothing. I take care of symptoms when they pop up, uh, and I only have one small thing to talk about tonight. So
Okay. Okay. And then I'll swing down to say hi to you, Mike, and go ahead.
Mike, you're muted.
You're muted, Mike.
Okay,
There you go.
I'm Mike from Arizona. Glad to be here. I've had MS since 97, 98, and I'm secondary progressive. I take no drugs, and I get a little confused at times. And I'm going to have a psych test at Mayo in another month or so, and that'll tell me how much I've declined in the last 3 years.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that later tonight? Do you want us to give you some
I, I,
time?
I don't think so, but
Okay.
for now,
You'll just chime in as needed, Mike.
yes.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah. And Louie, I'm swinging over to you. But you're on mute if now is a good time.
Sorry.
No problem.
Um, okay, yeah, I haven't done this in a while. I'm Louis from San Antonio, relapsing, remitting, on Ocrevus, and was diagnosed in November 2021. And no time tonight, just kind of hanging out.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, yeah, it's
And
good to see you.
yeah, good to see you too. I'll swing over to Carmen.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Excuse me.
Carmen.
I'm Carmen from Canada, and I have primary progressive MS. I was diagnosed in 2013 on Ocrevus, and I don't need any time tonight, but as you guys all know, I usually chime in with whatever. So,
And that's why we love it. So we'll check back, I'm sure. Okay. And Karen, is now a good time for you?
Oh, I'm sorry, my mic was on. So then you get to hear me banging around the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Karen. I want to say from Canada because it sounds like Carmen from Canada, but I'm not from Canada. I'm Karen from Oakland. I can't even see where the camera is. Yeah, and I've been diagnosed with primary progressive since 2019, and it's a pretty rapid progression. It's pretty disturbing, and no meds for people my age unless they want to take it. And I'm really struggling with a lot of stuff that's related to the MS, but I'm exhausted and I'm tapped out, so I don't even know that I will request time to talk about it. But I haven't eaten much today, so I'm going to putter around the kitchen and try to feed myself and take my camera off.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Karen. Enjoy your food. And Sherry, I'm swinging down to you.
Sherry from Northern Michigan. I'm diagnosed with relapsing remitting in 2008, and I'm not on any medication. And I can't think of anything, so I'll just support.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Sherry. And now Marlo. How
Marlo
about
from Michigan, dimethyl fumarate, diagnosed in 7 of 21, relapsing remitting, and I need a little bit of time.
all right. Excellent. And it's not that I'm not paying attention. Frank, I'm trying to keep notes too.
I'm keeping notes.
Oh, well then I won't. I'll pay
Don't
like
even worry
totally.
about it. I'll do the job.
All right. That's super. And as you all know, I'm Jennifer. I'm from Michigan, holding down the Michigan Strong and Mighty contingent. Um, I have secondary progressive MS. I'm taking Rituxan. As a matter of fact, I have an infusion in the morning tomorrow, and I'll be like everybody else. I'll just chime in as needed. So, all right. So, John, do you want to go ahead and start?
Sorry, I have a new headset and I was just messing around with stuff, pressing buttons and having fun. I have a neurologist appointment on Friday. And it's always good to see my neuro because she's a very, very, very nice lady who's willing to listen to my crazy, outlandish ideas and see if there's something going on. And the main thing I'm going to talk about is like, oh, hey, I've had like severe cluster headaches from like Thursday until not so bad today, but I just want to talk to her about like I know that headaches can be a thing of MS, and I just want to talk to her about it. Don't worry, I am keeping hydrated. After 3 stints in the hospital with UTIs, oh, I'm Johnny Fluids over here. You know, I'm just gonna kind of bounce ideas off her. You know, like, hey, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Um, it'll just be good to see her. Honestly, I'm just gonna be glad to get out of the damn house. Marlo almost had to hold up a sign for us because I almost did. I'm just excited to get out of the house, go down to Grand Rapids, go and sit, and turn around and come back home. You know, that's just how our appointments are. It'd be nice to be out of the house for a couple hours. But yeah, that was like kind of a big thing I was going to bring up with her. And I don't know if I had a chance to bring this up, but I got fitted for my new wheelchair, my lightweight one, which is exciting for me and exciting, honestly, for Melissa, who's my wife, of course. Um, being able to have to like help me push or, you know, later for her to put in the car. stuff like that. So I'm hoping that it comes in before Christmas so that we can go to St. Louis, Missouri to her folks' house and not have to lug around the 65-pounder.
John, can I
Because
interrupt? Is it a
yes.
power or manual chair that you're getting fitted for now?
Oh, I'm getting a manual chair because my first manual chair was the rental, and so it's just not great for me. It doesn't fit me. I don't fit in it. So they
Yeah,
just did a fitting for me, and
cool.
it's going to be orange because why not? If I could have powder orange, that'd be great. So that's a really exciting thing. I'm ready to go back to physical therapy. Like my toe's fine. Like all the stitches are out, all the skin is healed. There's some dry skin there, but like whatever. Um, but yeah, I'm ready to go back, and I can't wait to go back. My neurologist sent a referral yesterday or the day before. Nope, yesterday was Monday because AnCan's on Tuesday. That's how my calendar works in my head, and it
Yeah.
works. Like um, yeah, like I'm definitely ready to go back to PT, 100%.
And why haven't you been at PT?
Oh, because I didn't want to. Um, they couldn't let me do PT while I had stitches in such a vulnerable area, like the
Okay.
underside of one of my toes. Yeah, just doing my regular exercises would have probably just ripped it all right open. So, and then I
Okay.
didn't lose any strength or anything, but I'm looking forward to like gaining. Like I need that confidence back, that like, oh hey man, you walked 2 steps, fuck yeah. Or you, one of my favorite things to do is play catch with Melissa, like a big bouncy ball.
Hmm.
Do the go way back and follow your chair going forward. But yeah, I'm excited to go back to that, which is something I don't think I would have said like when I was like 33. Like I'm excited to go back to the gym and work out. But now I have an amazing reason to, and I should have done it a couple years ago. But here we are,
Yeah.
getting ready to go back and
And
seeing my doctor on Friday.
and then when do you think, I'm sorry, when do you think you'll start therapy again?
Um, like I'm calling back tomorrow, say like,
Okay.
hey, my person sent it, look for it. Oh no, they sent a request to renew the referral today. So it's in my doctor's hands, who they've already faxed it over, but you know how electrons work,
Yeah.
you know? Like in our brains.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to go back as soon as I can. Um, it's just an amazing place. I wish that like they have 2 places. I wish that they could like open more because like it's for just people with neurological problems, and I think that specialty is amazing. And I want everyone to be able to experience like it's people with car accidents, gunshot wounds, all sorts of stuff. Um, the fact that they have a Hoyer lift that runs on a track all the way around, I just want them to open for other people because I feel like I mean it's just Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's not exactly a large city.
But that's cool
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they have that. Mm, that, yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
good.
Like I'm not alone without a gate belt on when I'm there. Like you know,
Hmm.
um, and they never leave me when I'm doing something, which I mean is obviously the right thing to do. But like they're right on me, you know.
Well, that's good.
I'm
I'm
really super
excited for
lucky.
you.
Like I
Yeah.
would think that this place would be successful in any major city.
Is it one of those things that's affiliated outside of Michigan, or is it just in Michigan?
No, it's like kind of like a private group, but they have 2 locations, Traverse City and Grand Rapids. But I could just see like other people taking this idea of such focus just on neurological problems.
Mhm.
Like they have a pool that just has a treadmill in it, and you watch TV while you walk in water,
Oh, how
Oh,
cool.
wow. Can you
right?
imagine? Yikes. And
Yeah,
it's in Grand Rapids and Traverse City.
yeah, you're correct, absolutely. Like go for a walk on the treadmill, turn on your favorite music. We'll leave you alone for a while. If you fall, you'll be in the pool.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice.
I'm
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
jealous, actually, John.
yeah. Carmen, you should be.
I know.
I'm jealous, Carmen, and I live in Michigan, but I'm far enough away from John that I'm like, can't very well go to physical therapy in Grand Rapids
Yeah.
Right, right.
unless
John,
I can just come and stay there.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We have ramps.
Yeah.
John, I just wanted to say it's so nice to see you kind of back to your usual kind of a little bit peppier self.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I settled some things with my past parental issues.
Just you were just like not feeling well. That's what I'm mainly
Yeah.
talking. You
Oh,
probably
like that was weighing heavily on me, so it was bringing down my mood and honestly some of my health too.
yeah.
But thank you, Carmen. It's good to
Mhm.
be back.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Hi, Rick.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I didn't come in at the beginning because I know how great you guys are and a great job starting everything up, Miss Jen. Where's Kim tonight? Is she okay?
She has an she has something tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, so
Okay.
she didn't think she would be here. And then that's all I know. And then Frank, you had your elections, didn't you?
Yes, we did. You can now call me Councilman Austin.
Yay!
Oh.
Congratulations.
I don't take office until the 1st of January, so everything's going to be fine for another month and a half, and then I get to wreak havoc on Western Kansas.
And then there's the new sheriff in town.
And yes, right.
I'm totally I'm totally name dropping you if I ever get pulled over in Western Kansas. I'd be like, hey, I know
Okay,
Frank.
you can do that. Didn't work for me.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Was it close or did you kill him?
Believe it or not, 2 members of the city council did not run for reelection, and 1 incumbent did run for reelection, and there were 3 candidates, so we all got in. It was
Oh.
not even a fight. Wasn't even a fight.
A win's a win.
That's
You know
awesome.
what?
A win is a win.
A win's a win.
Mm. Yay.
Okay. All right,
Yay.
Councilman. I
Oh, I
know
thought you
you
said
had
constable. I thought you said constable. Like Frank's getting into
no
law enforcement?
City council. City council.
councilman. So, you know, I know you had to do this because you couldn't stay in the shadows of your buddy, the senator, any longer, right?
Well, it's a small town. He still got me beat, though. I mean,
Well,
what can,
he has until he needs something done in your town.
uh, it usually works the other way around. He takes care of us.
Okay.
Yay. So, John, are you feel like you're pretty good? You got all your stuff out that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I just want to talk about like I'm going back to PT and I'm really excited. I'm seeing my neurologist. I'm going to ask about the headaches and just like stand in place for like 2 minutes and blow her mind. And I'll do the peg test and I'll blow her mind because sometimes I go fast at that and sometimes I go really slow. I don't remember how good or bad I did last time. So I'll tell you results next time I'm here.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Marlo, you said you needed a little time.
Yeah, November is Caregivers Month. I'd like to thank the caregivers to this group that keep it running and keep it organized and keep us all here. So thanks to Rick and Kim and Jennifer and Frank for all the work you guys do to keep us all communicating.
Oh, that's super nice. Thank you.
I
And then
second
one
that.
more thing, Jennifer and Frank, you guys are always talking about being an advocate. In my other group, we got together and brainstorming, and we found one member of the group needed Botox for urinary issues.
Okay.
And there's a Botox, just so everybody knows, there's a Botox savings program that will cover your out-of-pocket costs if you need it for the right reasons. And the urinary issues is one of them. But it's called Botox Savings Program. All you do is you sign up for it, download your EOB in PDF format. You get approved in less than a week, and you have a check in your hands in about 2 weeks. So they really help out in that way.
That's awesome. Was that someone here in Michigan, Marlo?
Yeah, that was somebody in my local area. I belong to a local group,
Okay.
and we were all just helping each other out, and we just got on the computer and figured it out, and it's really cool.
Well, that's good. I wrote that down just because, as everyone knows, I use Botox for my bladder. So thank
And
you for
do
that.
you have Jen? Do you have a copay when you get your Botox or not?
I do not. I haven't. I've done my Botox. Their billing is notoriously slow, and I haven't received a bill yet. But I have to go again in January. So I'm in, like, you know how you all that use Ocrevus talk about the crap gap? I kind of feel that there's like a piddle gap, like when I go between Botox, like when I get to the near the end. So
Right.
I will talk to her. I have an amazing female urologist. I'll talk to her about the Botox, that information. I'll pass it along because I have there are 4 women in this area that go to the same urologist as me, and 3 of them are using Botox. So I'll pass
What
that
is it? What does it do? Can you talk about how it works and what results?
for me. It helps me. It like, you know how, I don't know, Karen, if you have any like sort of, well, you and we've talked about urinary issues before, but it just makes my bladder not spasm as much, and I can more completely empty. So instead of like going like tinkle tinkle tinkle, oh, I'm done, then I stand up and I'm like, 5 minutes later I have to go again, I actually empty my bladder. But then at the end of 6 months, like right around month 5, I start just barely going again.
And
Yeah.
interestingly enough, there was a discussion in the prostate cancer group tonight um, about a drug called Gemesa, Gemesa, Gemesa. I think the generic name is Verbigron, but I'm not certain. Virbegron. This I can tell you what it does. So sometimes, well, most of the time these days, if you get radiation to your pelvic area, including your prostate, they make you fill your bladder before you get on the table. And so a lot of the guys have problems because they've got to go in with this full bladder, and and they got to hold for a long time, and then they're on the table, and sometimes they can have an accident on the table and what have you. And this particular guy is actually quite a well-known internist. He's a doc himself, and he spoke to the radiation oncologist about it, and they prescribed this Verbigron, which you take once a day. It lasts for 24 hours, and it helps with your bladder spasms. And it also allows you to hold more liquid in your bladder. And he says it's been fantastic. That since he started taking it a week ago, he hasn't noticed any problems at all. Now, I'm familiar with another drug called Merbigron, which I think is a similar drug. Merbatique is the trade name, but you might just want to check out this Gemtesa and see if it could be helpful to any of you.
I'm looking it up right now, Rick. I'm yeah, thank you. And okay, I'm
And
going to.
here's the funny thing: we have a dude on the African American guy in Houston who is in the group, and he said that he had actually been hired as a salesman as a pharmaceutical salesman for this drug about 2 weeks before he got diagnosed. And because of his diagnosis and the treatment he needed, he had to step down. But he knew quite a bit about the drug, the Gemtesa. So maybe
Yeah,
it's some news to some people in this MS group.
yeah,
Rick,
I've never heard about it.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
were you saying Merbetric is another name of it?
Mebetric is a competing drug.
Okay, yeah, I take that one.
Oh, same here.
Now, I don't know if and the reason I'm pretty sure is because one's Verbigron and the other's Merbigron. So usually when the drugs are that close in name, they're very similar. I don't know if the Verbigron is a better drug or not than the Merbigron, but it should be on your radar, John, just in case you need to change. And like I say, the commercial name for it is Gemtesa.
Okay.
And what I'm reading, John, it just says Gemtesa is newer than Myrbetriq and is broken down in the body differently. So it doesn't. So I mean, they're similar, I would assume, but
I have an amazing urology nurse that I can just call and say, "Hey, Sarah, listen to this. Should I be on that versus this?" And she'll say, "I'll call you back in a half an hour." And then half an hour later, she calls me back with the answer and the reasoning behind it, which is really nice.
And a shout out to the urology nurse, because I'm always
Oh,
saying how different your care is when you have a nurse. That's one of the big, I'm looking for my camera. That's one of the big breakdowns of the healthcare, that
I
because
am.
even doctors don't know what nurses do. They know what they'll ask a nurse to do, so they don't understand that they are holding a humongous patient load, and they don't have any clinical support. It's just really different, because I called my neurology nurse about some things that were bothering me, and she called me back a week later and had a conference with the neurologist, with the physiatrist. It's just so different when you have that advocacy for you. It shouldn't even be called advocacy. It should be called medical care.
Well, I mean, you guys know that I'm not just gonna not charm my nurses to death because then I say to them because I know that they are the ones that really get the crap done. Like it's. I mean, I had a doctor's appointment last week, and I got my COVID, flu, pneumonia shots. And I said to my doctor, like, so can they all just go in one arm? He said, I don't know. The nurse knows that.
Exactly.
So she comes in with the three needles, and she said, do you want me to tell you when it's happening? I'm like, no, I can feel, and just don't tell me, I'll know. And so it was boom, boom, boom. 3 band-aids later, I'm on my way. So yeah, like it also helps when your urology nurse went to high school with some of your best friends. Um,
Ah,
so like, oh, do you remember Alex? Yeah, I remember Alex. What's he's up to? Well, he's married with 7 kids now. Isn't that weird?
well, it also helps, John. It also helps if you find out that your urology nurse, who grew up in a completely different culture and a completely different, worldview, that we went to the same nursing school within 2 years of each other. Now that helps
Nice.
too.
I
That's
have a question.
urology, but that's urology, not neurology, and the neurology. Well, I want to say about the neurology that because, people say I'm waiting to talk to my neurologist. It's like, good luck with that. They don't have time for you. But if there's a nurse, and I know no one else here suffers from cog fog, no one else here has everything all mushed up and confused, and you're trying to get some help about something, and then it's like, and I was just so impressed that a week
Oh,
later that the nurse went, oh, she got distilled everything down. Well, why not this? I go, because Kaiser's a conveyor belt. She goes, it is a conveyor belt. So no, don't send me to this. Don't push a button to that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Well, what about home care? But home care, like she took all the and distilled it to the essence of what needs to happen and still problem solved with me. Well, what would be the best solution? Amazing. Amazing.
That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah.
I have a question for myself that just got raised by what John said, which is I signed up to get my flu and my COVID shot next week, and I also signed up finally to get my first shingles shot because I think you have to get 2. Can
yeah.
I get COVID, flu, and shingles all at the same time? Or am
Yep.
I going to get
Uh,
there and will they say to me, sorry, we can't give you the shingles, you'll have to come back?
Rick, you'll have to ask your nurse about that.
Nice one, Cyril.
No, the only other thing that they offered me was a Hep B second shot.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't any shingles thing, and I mean, I know I'm only 44 and everything,
Yeah.
but I think that's about the time when we start getting our shingles shots. So I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
it's
but Rick,
Rick,
50.
you likely can
Okay.
get it at the same time. Um,
Okay.
I don't know, like I haven't looked at the shingles vaccine lately. If it's a live vaccine, then you have to either get it at the same time or you have to wait a period of time. So they'll tell you that, but you likely can get it at the same time.
You
And on a
should call
sore arm,
because
though, I'm just warning you.
you should call because you have to travel. I mean, it's just, you have to let people
Well,
know their barriers.
look, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because if they say you can't do it, I'll just get the 2. I'll get the COVID and the flu, and I'll have to go back for the shingles. I mean, it's 20 miles, unfortunately, for me to get there. But what can you do? But I have to get my shingles shot because I've got
Yep.
certain people who keep saying to me, "Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?" And I say,
Rick,
"No."
did you get tested for the shingles antibody?
What's
No,
that, Marlo?
I
My
don't know.
my first neurologist, she said if you had chickenpox as a child, she said we like to test you for. She said right now they're just giving it out the shingles vaccine, but she said it's best to wait as late in life as possible for the shingles vaccine. So what she does is test you for the shingles antibody that is in your body from when you had chickenpox.
Yeah.
So if it's at a certain level, then they say keep going. If it's below a certain
Okay.
level, then they say get the vaccine.
Well, that's
Okay.
helpful because I definitely had chicken pox.
Mine was way above, so she said I probably got 15 years. And
Huh.
then
And
she
has
said,
anybody had shingles? I've had shingles.
I
You
have.
don't want, yeah, you don't want it. So I can't remember if I've gotten the vaccine or if they did the blood test, like you're saying, Marlo. I don't remember because I somehow think I got a shingles vaccine anyway, not too long ago. But Yeah, you don't want to get it. I got it when I was living in Israel, and it was like I had it like it was all broken out from here to here and on the nerve, and it hurt. And
Wow. But
I'm in the
that's
clinic.
really,
What?
Karen, isn't that really young to get it?
Well, who knows, right? Where I was living. I don't know. It was, but I'm in the clinic. I'm horrified. You like your breast is red, everything hurts, and I didn't have health insurance, and I was living. I think I was visiting my boyfriend. I just went to the clinic, and they let me in there, and then I'm like sitting there like this, and he goes, "Hey, let me call everybody in. Look, she's got shingles. Look at this." And the treatment for it is it'll go away in what is it, a fortnight or 2 weeks?
With the proper
Like,
amount of suffering.
yeah.
They gave me a lidocaine patch to put on my side.
Wow.
Really helped.
Really? It
Hmm.
was that bad, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I didn't
I
know
had,
I had it. I was doing an MS walk, and I told my daughter, I said, I don't think I can finish. My side hurts so bad. She goes, oh, come on. We've only got a little bit more to go. I did finish it, but I went to the hospital right afterwards, and then they told me I had shingles. I didn't even know it. Didn't even
That sucks.
Have you had the vaccination, Sherry?
know. I figured I've
Because
already had it. Why should I have the vaccination?
Oh,
I don't want to poop on your parade, Sherry, but I'm reading this because I'm freaked out. And it says get the Shingrix even if you've had shingles
Yeah,
because you
that's why.
can get the disease more than once.
And I had
yeah.
chicken pox. I know I had chicken pox, and well, when I was whatever 5, 6, 7, and because in the 50s they'd go, oh, Patty next door got chicken pox. Go there so you can get it too. But I know I've had chicken pox and the shingles. I wasn't really. I was young. I don't even know how old you're supposed to be. But I'm gonna, if I remember, ask. Did I get the antibodies? That's a good point, Marlo. To get the antibodies and to check that. So even though I had chickenpox and shingles.
Well, and
Well,
then
I think the
Frank,
fact that you
Frank, go
got
ahead,
the
Frank. Go
well,
ahead, Frank.
I had it above my eye, and the big
Oh,
concern was you get it in your eyes and you can go
yeah,
blind real easily.
yeah.
Uh, uh, and I got through it, but the amazing thing was I had it before I had MS, and the doctors always accused the shingles of being the tripwire that set off the MS.
Really?
Mm.
Huh.
Wow.
Say
They
that
said
again?
that the tripwire that caused the MS was the case of shingles. That was what the doctors were working with.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That's
So
crazy.
that might explain why I'm in this group.
well, and then with us having immune system, like an immune disorder,
Yeah.
does that make us more likely to get shingles?
Well, and of course, this was, you know, 25, 30 years ago. So who knows how good that medical advice was.
Well,
Who
it's
knows
sure
how good the
consistent
medical
with what
advice?
it's sure
Sorry, go ahead.
consistent. Yeah, it's sure consistent with what we're starting to hear that like it's not all genetic. I mean, just that there can be triggers like the EBV studies that are going on, but
Mhm.
other things too. Because I've often wondered if a couple of vaccinations that I got activated me, you know?
How
Anyway,
old were you when you were diagnosed, Carmen?
well, I was diagnosed at 44, but
Okay.
I had symptoms for probably, oh, at least 5 years. Probably 5 years. I mean, they were very mild, but my sister has MS, so I knew like I was at risk. So anyway, more research, more research.
Mm.
Oh, speaking of research, and it
Oh.
was like I really just literally discovered it the Monday before our last meeting. And it's somehow related to how I ever found AnCan. I don't know why. But there's an MS conference that happens in Europe every year. And
Yes.
this year it was called MS Milan. But I remember like 3 in the morning going through this thing, and then I don't know how AnCan surf it. I was just like in a fog. But it happened, and we missed it. Like that. I saw that Monday, but they have lots of research. They even have a special panel for patients. It happens at like 3 in the morning our time or whatever. But for the research minded, not me, they have all the papers. It's all free. It's all available. It's all there. So anybody who's curious, I think it's called MS Milan, but I can't look it up now because it was in Milan this year in Italy. But it's pretty phenomenal. Like it made me feel better. Like, oh, there are people besides the pharmaceutical companies who are looking into these things.
I think MS Today actually does a really good job of summarizing it. Like I get a newsletter and they often have summaries from the conference. I think it's
Oh,
MS
okay.
Today. Does anyone else get MS Today or the newsletters email?
Yeah, I do. MS News and Views or something like that.
Is that
And
the guy in Florida?
No, no. It's a
Oh.
group. Like it's not a specific person. It's um like information sharing.
mm,
I'll look it up and I'll have it next time.
I think the name of the conference
Frank,
they had was called ECTRMS, ECTRIMS.
Yeah.
That's correct. It's a
Frank, did
Euro,
you want to say something about the conference?
it's a European conference on MS, and it does happen every year. Just like we have one here in the United States, it occurs every year. I think they're both comparable. Uh, a lot on research, a lot on research.
I think this is what I was actually talking about. MS News Today.
There are so many resources out there,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so many different things, so many, we've had Dr. Boster speak at our group before. Barry Singer was just over in China. So, those names that you see if you're just looking on the internet, those and ECTRMS, John Strum was over at ECTRMS, and his podcast has quite a bit of information about new research and new advancements. So
What was his
It was
name?
John Strum, it's John JONSTRUM, and he
He's
has a podcast.
he's
Sherry, I
MS.
can, if you want, I can, because we're friends on Facebook, I can send you a link.
Is he on
well.
Spotify?
I'm sorry,
I,
what?
I'm gonna look on Spotify to see if he's on there.
Probably.
I really like the way that he spells his name. Jon Johns are probably just the better Johns. I
Just
think just better Johns.
They're
Absolutely.
Jonathans because they're like could be Jonathans as opposed to be just some John. We know what Johns are.
Yeah,
But
we're great.
this year I do beg to differ a little with Frank, but that's okay. I don't think the information I get in the US is comparable to what I've gotten from Europe. Like overall, it's just not driven by drug companies. It's not driven by, hey, it's okay that I have MS. I don't let it get me down. I'm okay. It's just, I just find it being really more pointed, really more, let's involve the patients. Let's call it a collaborative. I just found it really, when I do look into it, it just to me is more informative. I mean, I'm happy that that's where I get my information from, but I don't have a brain anymore, so I'm sort of like, well, whatever.
On that topic, just about John Strum, I just was looking up through my email because I thought, oh, he's probably in one of these informations. And what it says is that he was a care partner. He is a care partner for his wife who lives with secondary progressive, and he's a dedicated advocate for MS research and healthcare. He started Real Talk MS so that others affected by the disease could have easy access to readily understandable information about MS research, policy, and other topics of great interest.
Yeah. And he's pretty amazing.
Yes.
You had him come to the
Yeah.
group? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's just Frank knows him as well. Yeah.
He's just a super guy. I mean, what more can you say? He's done it all for his is it his wife? Did his wife die?
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. It just says
Yeah,
he was
his
Yeah,
wife
he's a
she
care
passed
partner.
away. And he continues to fight the fight to get the information out about MS. I mean, he
Hmm.
does a tremendous job.
And
I
he
just had
does. It
uh,
sounds like it, and because it affected him personally, like he's not fitting the profile of I'm just a career guy. It's a personal mission, and even the way you read what he's saying, I was like, oh, I'd be interested in listening to him.
and he
Real
has
When
Talk MS is a really good podcast.
yeah.
Yeah.
which one? What's it called?
The Real Talk one that you guys
Oh
been
yeah.
talking about, like I've listened to that guy, and then like I saw him at a conference, and I was just like, oh, it's really you. Like you're amazing, and I love you, and you're so far away, so I can't get your autograph, but I love you. Um, so yeah, to entertain me takes a lot, obviously. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's really good. If anyone's looking for a podcast, that's a good one.
I
Hmm.
found him. He is on Spotify.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
good. Good. Oh, good.
Excellent. That's good.
Guys, since we're just talking about different resources and stuff, I just wanted to mention this. I don't know if you guys have ever looked at iConquer MS. If any of you are participating in that, it's another one, just health
Yeah,
data sharing.
my wife has spoken as a caregiver there a couple times.
Oh,
I think
cool.
like 3 or 4 times. So yeah, she really is part of the I Conquer MS loop that way.
Cool.
As the best caregiver in the world, who doesn't deserve to be a caregiver? I want her to be my wife again.
That's interesting. If now, John, if you don't mind, if we just talk about that,
Yeah,
if roles were reversed and Melissa had MS, would you be there
yeah,
for her?
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah, I gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah,
Stupid MS.
I know.
yeah.
I agree. I agree.
You
Changes
know,
relationships so much, and it's just bullshit. It's not fair.
Wow, I just got really emotional there.
It's
Oh,
hard.
it's understandable why, John. Just you're entitled to. You're
yeah,
totally entitled to get emotional over that. We've I would love to start an MS Care Partners group.
yeah,
I
yeah.
actually spoke to the lady that runs our Cancer Care Partners group and said, well, could we open it up? And she was reluctant to do that because she feels there's too much space between cancer and MS, which I respect, plus the fact that we really want our moderators to determine what's in the group. We're not going to tell them what's in the group, but it still
Oh yeah,
leaves us
absolutely.
short because we don't have an MS Care Partners group. And I mean, I've talked to you guys about this before, but if we could put together a moderation team of a couple of care partners, 2 or 3 care partners, um, we we'd start one in a heartbeat. I mean,
Right.
Mike Pettipool. Maybe I should ask Vicky if she'd be willing to once a month to be a a moderator. And if I could find a couple of other moderators, then of course we have the issue of we've got to push it out, which we would need help from all of you guys because we don't know your community. But I really think that the MS Care Partners, I mean, it was so kind of Marlo to make that statement earlier on, and they should they should be recognized, and there should be support for the MS care partners.
But what
And
about
And
what about you know it? I can't like name all the things that are neurology is very tricky, but a lot of the stuff is similar with Parkinson's. Like let's brainstorm and go, well, what other disease would you feel comfortable
Right.
would chronic disease? No, not diabetes, not arthritis, but life altering that something like that. There's so many other things. My friend's husband died of multi-system failure or that ALS. Well, that's
Butterfield,
even worse. That's a whole other thing. But
yeah, I think you could group Parkinson's and MS together in a caregivers group. You know, I think that one would work.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because we've got a couple of Parkinson's people that really want us to start groups, and I'm sure that the care partners would appreciate it. But we're faced with that same issue, worse. At least here in this group, we have relations with the big MS nonprofits. But in Parkinson's, we don't have any relationship. And so I don't know how we would put out the word. We do have relationships with 2 or 3 local Parkinson's groups, and they could put
uh,
out the word. But we don't have a relationship with the National Parkinson's Group, which is why we don't have a Parkinson's group right now.
but there's
Otherwise, we would.
also a lot. Yeah, there's also a lot of support about Parkinson's because I feel, there's been things I've seen even at the neuro PT person and someone in my synagogue. She runs PD Active, and I looked it up and it's like they have exercise and all this, but and I think, well, why can't I go to that? Like why couldn't I go? Well, I don't have Parkinson's, so I do sort of feel like there is a lot for Parkinson's, but it wouldn't take away from sharing those two.
Yeah, I'll definitely think about that, and we'll look at it and see if we couldn't patch together. But we're still going to need 2 or 3 moderators to get it started. But if I could find those moderators, and I might be able to, if I can include some Parkinson's moderators, we may be able to put something together for this sort of a neurological care partners group.
my only
I'm gonna
concern,
oh,
Rick, would be privacy. I don't know, and I'm speaking just personally. I don't know that I would want Dan to come on here and talk as my care partner about what he's going through and have it be recorded.
Yeah, but let me address that. I mean, because we face that with our cancer group, with our cancer care partners group. And there is what in the old days we used to call a Chinese wall. I mean, what goes on in that care partners group is not talked about. It is confidential to the care partners group. So if Dan came on that group and he said something, it would not get relayed. It doesn't get relayed. I mean, those are the rules of the group.
But
So
would it be videoed?
No,
thank
we
you.
no.
Oh,
Well, first of all, that's up to the group. But I can tell you right now, we do not video the Cancer Care Partners group, so it's not public. And so what gets said in that group stays in that group. It has to be that way.
And I think that's a really important piece, Rick. And thank you for like clarifying that. That
Yeah.
would be
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why. I mean, we don't video our mental health support groups. We don't video our care partners support groups because some of these groups need to be safe spaces. They need to be safe spaces for the people who are attending them, whether it's a care partner or whether it's somebody with their own mental health issues. We've got to be able to assure that, which we can. Other groups like this one, or like, say, our advanced prostate cancer group, a lot of it is great information that's getting shared, and we're only too happy to video it because there are people who miss the group and they want to catch it up. There are people who don't catch everything in the group. They want to listen again. And there are people who rely on the video because they can't attend the real group. And then they get the benefit of hearing about Gemtesa tonight, for example, or something like that.
And they can also be anonymous. They can, have a pseudonym. But by nature, a caregiver support group is always
Sure.
going to involve talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're always going to talk about somebody else. Where with us, it's different. And even here, if you really have something. Well, I think we did open up once. We somehow couldn't video, and it's like, okay, let's put all our cards on the table because we're not being videoed tonight. But you can always ask for like a moment before or after to have that. But yeah. But a care partner, just by nature, you're talking about somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't
And by
want.
the way, that's always available to you here. I mean, if you wanted to shut the recording down early because there's something you want to say, you can always do that. Don't feel like you can't do that. The moderator has the right to do that always. But let me think about it, and I can think of maybe 3 or 4 people that might be interested in moderating, and I might be able to sort of twist their arm a little bit. And then if we got it together, I'd really need your help, Jennifer and Frank, to push this out to the world so that MS Care Partners knew that there was a space once a month that they could meet in.
Rick, I was just thinking,
We
like,
used to do it in Southern California.
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Frank.
We used to do a cruise every year for caregivers in Southern California, and it was only a weekend cruise, but all the caregivers went on a cruise and spent the 3 or 4 days together, just doing support for one another, and it was
Yeah.
great. My ex-wife went all the time. I think she was just trying to get away from me, but that's okay.
That is okay. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And that's because you weren't a councilman then.
A landslide. The largest crowd. There was the largest crowd in Plainview,
That's right.
Kansas for my inauguration.
That's right. Mike Pettipool didn't even hear that. Mr. Pettipool, we've now got a councilman in our midst.
Yeah, yeah.
Frank
Councilman.
got elected.
All right. Congratulations, Frank.
Well,
Nailed
thank
it.
you. Well, we'll see how much the congratulations really are in a few months. Okay.
I'm feeling better already. Help is on the way.
Hey, Mike, maybe we should get him to move down here to Tubac, and then we can elect him down
No,
here to the he can run against
I
Bruce
am
or run
going
against one of the
to.
other ones. What do you think?
Why not?
Carmen, were you going to say something?
No, it's okay. Thanks.
No problem. And John, I think John's having mic trouble, so he's kind of popping in and out. There
Oh,
you
he
are.
switched
Uh,
my.
Mike, is this working at all? At all?
Yes, sir, it is.
Sure.
There you go.
I knew I could do it.
Yay.
But we were talking about I was just want to chime in on the privacy thing with the support, group, and I was just thinking like, I'm not a strong man. There are days when I want to go in there and be like, what the fuck is she saying about me now? Like I would not be able to resist myself. Like honestly. So thank you for making those like don't record those.
Oh, we won't.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. I was gonna say that,
Guaranteed.
but yeah.
John, do me do us a small favor. Check with Melissa if she would be interested in being part of, not just her. We'd have 3 or 4. If she would be being part of a moderation team if we put together a care partners group for, say, MS and PD,
Yeah,
principally. Would you
I
mind and let me know?
I actually just sent her a text like 3 minutes ago. I'd like to talk to you about AnCan when we get back to bed.
Okay.
You know what I think you should do, John? Because Rick is so charming and it's very hard. He doesn't even twist your arm. He just strokes it and says, "Come on, you can do it." I think he should, I think if she just talked to Rick, she wouldn't be able to say no. It's very
Yeah,
hard to do.
exactly. Like I still can't.
Okay, well, just let us know. But I'd so love to do it. I mean, we see this across our groups that the care partners don't get enough support, and they do an incredible job. And so anything we can do to make their life easier
Yeah,
is a real
absolutely.
service,
You're
After
here.
all for everything that they do for us,
right?
Well, Sherry and I don't have that. So, Rick, I think you should have a group for people who want to be care partners to people like me and Sherry.
I'll I'll be right over.
Well, Karen, you had no chance, but now that you've got that moving platform going up and down outside the house,
That's
everybody's going to want to be your care partner.
no, I mean, I've been dealing with this. It's not over. It's not at all over. It's insane. It's just absolutely insane. The company that did this, I've had 75 phone calls from them. It's just insane. I was dealing with it. It hit me 2 days yesterday. I couldn't sleep because it's not installed. It's broken. It needs to be replaced. And every time there's an appointment or something, it got changed. And now the owner is in there doing everything. And Monday, I've been having nightmares because I can't get any. When you're dealing with a maniac, I've never bought a car from a dealer, but I heard they put you in a box in a room. But here you're selling a lift. It's the lift I want. It's the price is right. How complicated should it be? But there are some mentally ill people that must create drama. So I woke up yesterday at 9 in the morning and I said, I need an advocate. I hadn't even heard from him. It's supposed to come on Thursday, but I knew it's not coming on Thursday. I mean, I just knew that, I've got this broken one. It's not installed. It's still not safe. And I got up yesterday and I started crying. I was like, I need an advocate. I'm not going to deal with these people anymore. I need an advocate. And I know just the right person for the job. And I was sobbing and I thought, oh, I don't want to call her sobbing. And then I was writing and debriefing and thinking, what do I need? And the owner of the company called me and he ran one of his numbers on me. And I wasn't expecting to hear from him. And he said, oh, this is Lloyd. Yeah, we're trying to get you this lift. I'm like, and you know how gabby I am, but I wasn't. Well, we can have it delivered tomorrow. I said, oh, but I talked to Antoinette last week and she said Jose's coming on Thursday. And he said, well, what do you care? And I said, who's going to deliver it? He goes, what difference does it make? And I already wrote about the guy who delivered this broken down one twice, and I don't want him anywhere near me. What difference does it make? You don't need to know. You don't need to know who it is. And I said, well, I do need to know because I don't want Sam to deliver it. Well, that's ridiculous. You should be happy. You should be thanking me. You should be, just could tell you Rick his ethnicity. You should be thanking me. You should be happy you should be happy. Isn't that what you wanted? You're going to get what you wanted. And I'm just like pulling back. I'm pulling back. And then he's like, I think you have issues. I said, I do. I said, I've been trying to do this since July and it's November and you've been paid since the beginning of August and I don't have it. And I fell 2 weeks ago, or I don't think I even told you all, I fell at home because of this delay and all of this. And he's like, well, that's why you can have it tomorrow. Okay, who's going to deliver it to him? He's doing this mind fuck on me. And then he's saying, and I hadn't yet called someone to be an advocate. And he said, well, okay, I can have Jose come on Friday. You want it on Friday? You can do, yeah, that's fine. Then he kept switching it around. I mean, it was just like smoke and mirrors. And now I understand why I understand why all the technicians kept having the time change. Like this guy is like the man behind the curtain. Jennifer, what were you going to say?
So have you gotten the ramp or have you gotten the lift?
I had a
Mm.
lift delivered that is corrupted. It's broken. It's corrupted. This guy, Sam, delivered it. He's also was just banged it in my water pipes. He did all these things. So then I wrote to the company and then I wrote again. I just wrote and I said, there's some problems. Then I articulated them. Then I didn't hear from him. Then I called back. You know, like, Jennifer, I know how to deal with people. I know how to advocate. And so, I mean, and then I realized I'm going nuts. I'm cataloging the 15 entries in my diary, the 75 phone calls. And I woke up yesterday crying, go, I need an advocate, not expecting to hear from this maniac. And he calls and then he does that. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm going to have an advocate call you. And he said, yeah, but we can do, I said, no, I'm going to have an advocate call you. I'm going to have somebody, I didn't say who it was. And he knows the MS Society paid for it. And they're calling me and they're asking me, do you have the lift? And I feel like they know something's up. And this is,
So
just
has the society reached out? Is that who the advocate is?
no, the society's asking me, is it in? Is it there? And I just keep thinking each time, it's going to take 10 days. It's going to take this. It's not just the lift. I needed a platform built. And my contractor's amazing, and he built it. But so I put a friend on the job, and she contacted him today. And we're very specific. Tell him I want to know who's going to do this. Tell him this, that just keep it really simple. So she calls me and she goes, oh my God, that guy, he wants this. I said, don't. Then he's insisting that I owe him $200 and I owe him this. So we problem solved all that. And she calls back an hour later. She said, okay, I talked to him and this is what he said. Cause he always does. He knows how to say it. It sounds reasonable. Everything's reasonable. And one of the lists was do not contact Karen. You are not to contact her. Do not contact Karen. You contact these two people, we are her advocate, do not contact her. So they have the whole thing worked out. She said, Karen, let's just hope that on Thursday, Jose really, I want to know his name, I want to know his phone number, but I've talked to Jose, so I know he's okay. And then she confronted him about this money that he's insisting that I owe. And she said, that doesn't make sense. And he looked up the records. Okay, it's totally reasonable. And after I talked to her, guess who contacted me?
Jose.
That would
No,
be
Jose's cool, the owner.
Damn.
The owner. Guess who contacted me with a CC to the main salesperson with an estimate? With an estimate. He's already been paid. So I called my friend. She was busy then. And it's like, let's just see what happens. But it's just, what part of no?
So
Do not.
possibly, do you think you're going to get it this week?
It's been 4.5 months.
So
It's been
no.
4.5 months. My friend, she said, maybe I outbullied him. I'm not going to respond to his stupid ass estimate. It's just, I'm not going to deal with him, but he made sure to do something. So I can't say, it's been going on for months, since July. It's insane. It's like, we have this, we'll sell it to you. Okay. So, and then he purposely delivered a corrupted, broken lift with this guy who was so uncomfortable. And then they said, oh, we'll give you $1,000 back if you take this dented lift. And I took it because my contract is on vacation and I couldn't wait because that means he won't build it until December when it's raining. So I just, and then they sent the second technician. Yeah, he didn't even install it because it's messed up. It's somebody crazy, it's somebody crazy. And when I realized it's somebody crazy, I'm not going to talk to him. I mean, it's you tell someone don't talk to me,
We
and then
got
sends
we
an
got
estimate. Just
we
so
gotta
I
jump in. We
okay.
gotta jump. We gotta
Yeah.
jump in because we ain't gonna solve it. And no one's heard from Louis yet. Louis, are you
Oh, and we
really
haven't seen
there?
Louis yet.
Oh yeah, he
Louis,
said hello earlier and stuff.
are you there, Louis? Yes. How are you?
I'm here.
Hello.
I'm
We
good.
haven't seen you for so long. What's
Yeah,
going on in San Antone? Tell us. Speak to us,
um,
Louis.
it finally cooled down. It's not 100 degrees anymore, so that's nice. Um, but yeah, I had my camera off because I'm working and I didn't want to look like I'm just blowing you guys off. But I've been good. No, no new lesions or anything, so that's good. I had COVID a while back, and that was challenging, but that's okay. Um, I did another MS ride, so that was number 4. But that was after COVID, so I was learning to uh, accept my limitations. So I did a shorter route this time. Um, that's kind of been the theme this year is just not pushing myself. So yeah,
Good
recovery was a
try.
lot shorter.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you. It's
I
been yeah, it was a much more enjoyable recovery, not so yeah, um, um, a lot more fun. Yeah.
How many days to recover?
Well, honestly, I mean, I still don't. Honestly, man, it's um maybe about a week or so, because I really didn't train. I didn't really get to train because I got sick like in August, and I was I was sick for a long time, and the ride was in October, so I wasn't planning to ride. Um, so I just man, it was just luck. I was gonna just do the finish, and then one of my friends from a previous ride like rode in front of me, and he was like blocking the wind for me, and I ended up doing like 70 miles um,
Oh,
with
70?
him.
congratulations.
Like,
Mhm,
70?
mhm,
on purpose?
Oh, bless
mhm,
you. Oh my God, Louis.
And
Oh
this was
my
just
God.
this one was a short one.
mhm.
You did the MS 150 last year, right?
Mhm.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, with
Kudos.
Like my doctor's not even 70 miles away.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
Good for you, Louis.
Yeah.
Can
Oh
we
my
can we
gosh.
can we feature him on the AnCan Instagram?
Oh, we can do something. I just gotta, I'll get Hannah onto it. Now that he's spilled the beans, I'll get Hannah onto it and we'll get something done. You're gonna have to deal with Miss Hannah now, Louis, but yes, we'll
okay.
definitely get something. Jennifer, you were trying to say something before.
Well, I just heard Louis say something about being diagnosed in November, and that's this month. And today is my MS anniversary, and I just wondered, how are you doing? This will be year 2 for you, Louis.
Mm, yeah,
How?
pretty good. It's been interesting, I guess the weather changes and stuff can be triggering, the
Mhm.
time change and all that is kind of yeah,
Just yeah.
not ready for that, but the weather
I use
patterns,
I use
triggers the memories.
my little sunshine lamp is honestly like a godsend. Um,
hmm
do you have one of those down in San Antonio, or do you need to have them? Because you
Yeah,
can get sun all like is it sunny a lot? I guess I get San Antonio confused with everything. So sorry.
yeah, we get the sun sets like around 5:30 or so, but like I
Okay.
have these warm lights and stuff to keep it feeling,
Yeah.
nice. But it's been interesting. So yeah,
Louis, that's awesome.
Yeah.
thank
Yeah,
You're
you.
well
awesome.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis, what about, I can't remember. Weren't you like looking for a different neurologist or how's your medical care going?
It's good. I have a new one. I started with that one last, I think last year, or I think it was last year. So I have that new neurologist is really good. Every time that I thought I was having a flare up, she would get me in right away and do the MRIs, and everything always ended up being okay. So I did have some stuff with my, like a pseudo flare when I was going through a med change with my seizure meds. Um, but that seemed to be mellowed out once that stabilized. Um, so now it's just managing my stress.
Excellent.
Hey Rick, what kind of mental health support groups are there? I looked up on the website. Is there anything like for anxiety, depression?
Sorry, you're asking me, Sherry, or was
Yeah,
that for me?
yeah. You
Yeah.
you
Well,
said there was mental health support groups on AnCan, and
yes.
I
Okay.
looked and I can't find them, but I just wonder if
No.
they're for anxiety
So,
and depression.
no. So,
Okay.
very soon, what we have right now is a men speaking freely group, which is essentially a mental health support group for guys, but we don't call it that. Otherwise, we wouldn't
Oh,
get any guys.
oh okay.
And right, but it's open to anybody with chronic illness. We'd love to have some of the MS guys come. It's that meets the first Thursday and the third Thursday. It's called Men Speaking Freely, and it's on the website. We are about to start a Women Speaking Freely group,
Oh,
which will
wow.
be women only.
Mm-hmm.
And Kim, God bless her, has agreed to be a moderator,
Mm-hmm.
but we're trying to find a moderator of color. And so we're stuck right now. But as soon as we have that moderator of color, which is one of the requirements that Kim feels is important, and we agree with her, then we will set a date, and that will start off as a monthly meeting, and that will be just for the ladies, so you won't see me, but we would love to see you there, Sherry, and
Yeah.
Karen and Carmen and Jennifer and any other of the ladies. So that in addition to that, we have some other mental health programming. We have our art class, which we consider to be a mental health um,
Mm-hmm.
programming, which Karen's nodding. She agrees with that.
Yeah.
We have the Solo Arts Heal class, which is
Yeah.
there right now. So that's essentially where what how we're expanding some of our mental health programming.
Okay.
But yes, we would love for you to be in that mental. It'll be called Women Speaking Freely, and we're close to having it. But
Cool.
we just got to find an Alexa. Alexa is going to lead it, but she's had her own health issues recently, but we've given her a couple of leads on some people of color, and so we've just got to bring somebody in so that we're balanced, and so that if we do get ladies of color, that they feel comfortable in the group. Um, so, but I want to come back to Louis, because I just want to say to Louis, we missed you. That's what I want to say, Louis. I kept coming on these groups and not seeing you, and I was concerned. I should have asked Hannah, but I didn't. But we are. I just want to say, for me personally, I am delighted to see you in the group tonight.
Absolutely, Louis. Absolutely.
Even if we don't see you, but we know you're here.
We know you can hear us.
So I had something happen on Saturday. If I could let you guys, if I could have like 3 minutes, I just kind of remembered. Um, So two of my two like younger nephews came over. When I say younger, I mean 13 and 10. Um, and I had the MS talk with them. Like, hey, do you ever wonder why Uncle John is in a wheelchair? Like, yeah, like mom tells us that you're sick and stuff, but I just want to like explain them what MS is and what it does. Because I feel like my mom and my sister would just be kind of general about it. So like I even started talking about like axions and myelin and all that kind of stuff. And the 13-year-old was like, yeah, so if you strip a bunch of cords and just let the copper touch, it's going to get all shocky. So that's what's happening in your brain. It's like, wow, you are very, very smart. You must take after me. And the younger one had a couple of questions, but it felt, speaking of mental health, it just felt really good to know that, like, hey, I can talk to these kids and, like, be real with them and they understand. And that's always important to me with them. And
Amen.
when they came up, they did a lot of chores to clear out the garage and get it ready for winter and stuff. And when I said, why do you guys help so much? And the younger one said, well, it's out of respect.
Aw,
Wow.
You
Nice.
know,
aw.
like, oh my god, oh you're such good. I don't hate your mom that much anymore. You know, but like, yeah, like they
Nice.
help out with their grandpa, their great grandpa, because it's my grandpa, and he is taking care of my wife, his wife who has dementia. So they're always over at Pa's house helping out and doing stuff like that. They're great kids, you know. So it just felt good to have that talk with them, keep them up to speed.
That's so awesome, John.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
John, I gotta say that's awesome on your part.
yeah. Like I made
It's
everyone else left. It was just me and those two. We were we were eating no bake cookies, and I was just like, "Hey, do you guys ever wonder why Uncle John uses a wheelchair?" And it was good. Turned out well.
how
They're
old are
bright
the
boys.
kids, John?
Oh, 13 and 10.
Okay. Great
Yeah,
job, John. What a
yeah.
great job.
A little bit of
You know,
advocacy for myself. You know,
yeah.
telling them and stuff like that.
You know,
So
but it's more than that because I mean I've heard you guys on this call talk about this a lot that so often people look at kids look at people in wheelchairs as like the untouchables
yeah,
and and
Adults do that.
adults do it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, something like what you're doing makes it so much easier for these kids to relate to people who are in a wheelchair.
yeah. I let them take a little ride around in my power chair. Like, wow, this thing goes fast. Well, I said, let me back in. I'll crank it all the way up. So I took it up to 4. I'm like, wow, that actually goes pretty fast, Uncle John.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh. Jennifer, do you have any nieces?
I think you asked about nieces and nephews. And yes, yes. And I think that it's the future generations that this is going to be second nature. They're going to be, you know, more comfortable with wheelchairs and it will just be more acceptable. So I think that's good. And I think it's really important to educate your family about MS. So, and John, you did a good job with your nephews.
Thank you.
Yeah, beaming with pride. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say I've got three nephews and they're young, but like my 5-year-old nephew Thomas, the oldest, he grew up using a cane. Like he loves the cane. He has dragged the cane around. He's so comfortable with a cane. Like my mom, so his grandma uses a cane because she has MS, and then me. And I've taught him like from a very young age, and my 2.5-year-old nephew, how to safely get up on the rollator. Like they know that they have to put on the brakes before they can climb on it. And like these are things we do when we're camping together. I teach them, how
Good for
to
you.
safely kind of use the equipment. So they're so comfortable with it, and it won't even seem strange to them to see a disabled person, which I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for, I mean, if nothing
Good.
else.
Yeah. Did Carmen, forgive me if we've talked about this before, but your mom has MS and your sister has MS?
Yep.
Wow.
Out of 4 kids, 2 have MS. But the 2 of us, we grew up in Saskatchewan on the prairies. And then we moved here when my brother and sister, who are 9 and 11 years younger than us, so they were just a year and 3 when we moved here to British Columbia. Don't know if, like, I think it's an environmental trigger too, from Uh, I could get into lots, but we lived in a very small town. They'd spray for mosquitoes and they'd drive around with a truck with the fogging machine and like this terrible chemicals just going everywhere. And we'd be playing at the park and, there they'd go, oh yeah, they're spraying for mosquitoes. So who
How
knows what we were
how
exposed
how
to.
how common is it to get that many people in one family with MS?
Well, how about how common is it in a very small town? Like my small town where I grew up is like the population around that time was 1,500 people, and there are 3 others that I know of around my age, like within 5, 6 years of my age, that have MS, and 2 of them primary progressive.
Carmen,
That's strange.
I'm in exactly the same space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 1,700 people, and there are 3 of us with MS here in town, and I'm in the best shape of the 3.
And you grew up there, Frank?
And I grew up here.
So do you think there was any environmental exposure that you can think of?
Believe it or not, we had the same thing as far as mosquito spray. Just who knows what really is the issue, but
I
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
that stuff was ugly every summer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said this before, but my graduating class of 106, 4 of us have MS.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I remembered you'd said that.
Wow.
Did they
And
spray
then
for
you,
mosquitoes where you live, John?
Oh my gosh, all the time. But I also lived
oh yeah,
da-
Michigan, huh?
downriver from a place called Dow Chemical. I don't
Yep.
know if you ever heard of Dow Chemical, but
oh my
right
God.
downriver, and we used to eat fish out of that river and
Oh,
swim in that river, and
oh no.
yeah, the Tittabawassee River.
Oh
I
no.
did
When
I did a
they finally cure this thing or find out something, it's going to be so interesting to see what the environmental factors are, what the
yeah.
weather factors are. I mean, just look at this group tonight. 4 of us are from Michigan. So, what does that say? And then we have Carmen. You're from Canada. You're more west.
Now I am, but I was central when I grew up. Like I
Okay.
spent the first 13 years plus another couple years when I went back and in my older teenage years. So
Yeah. It will be.
Jennifer, you have 5 from Michigan. Don't forget Mr. Pettipool. He might not be in Michigan now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Also, I know this guy named Dan
Oh,
Dignan.
yeah. I have.
I heard
Yeah.
he's in Michigan.
Yeah, he is. He's studying very hard right now, as a matter of fact. Yes. Yeah.
As the
So,
man said, changes in latitudes.
mhm,
Farther, farther north you go.
mhm.
yeah,
Guys, I have to bail because I got to call Alexa. We got a little emergency going on over with one of our moderators that we haven't been able to track down for over a week, and she
Oh,
wants to talk to me because she's been doing some research. So I'm just going to bail out. Stay in the room as long as you like. It's been, as always, a huge pleasure
It's
to
Thank
been
be
you, Rick.
part of this group.
bye, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks,
nice to
Rick.
see you,
Bye.
Rick. Bye bye.
I'm gonna follow Rick out.
And I don't want to be a party pooper, but I have Rituxan in the morning, so I'm Frank, would you
Bye.
Thur-
mind like
Good night,
Thursday,
everyone.
come to the art class because I wrote to Hannah wrote back. She said, "I love the way you said doing art is a way of fighting back." I mean, I never did anything like this before, ever,
Wow,
ever, ever in my life.
that's impressive.
And
yeah,
I just, it's amazing. And it's just been, come to her class. I mean, it just, yeah, I wrote to her, I sent her some other things because Karen, I love how you say it's a way of fighting back. I think it's a better way of fighting back than saying, I'm going for Rituxan to fight back. Like, do art, make art.
well, I appreciate that, but I think my way of fighting back is pretty good too. So
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I never liked the expression of fighting back. Or I think someone was saying about conquering MS. I'm like, who conquers? Has anybody here conquered MS? But I just this practice has really changed so much. And if it wasn't for AnCan and Alexa's idea to do it, and I'm like, I don't want to do art. Art? No, that's not for me.
well, it's everybody does what's best for them. So
Jennifer, I
yeah.
gotta tell you, I got a picture I was looking at that I got from the last MS activist thing where they took a group picture. I just noticed Dan was in it.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I would be remiss if I didn't say the next AnCan meeting is the 28th. So 2 weeks
Thank you
from
so
today.
much.
And Karen, you said that the art class is
Thursday.
Thursday, so 2 days. What time is it?
8.
I think it's 5 o'clock.
It's
So
at
8
8.
I think
o'clock
it's 5 or 5:30. I don't remember. I have to look at a
Cent.
calendar for that.
Yeah. So
It's
But
at 8
I'm
Eastern.
not someone who ever made art, and I don't even care if it doesn't come out good. It's just it's so healing to be with other people who have, it's a whole AnCan thing here, but who, it's just, time out. You can have some, you can have some playtime.
yeah. Well, that's good. I'm Frank. I'm gonna just head out.
Bye,
Bye.
Thanks,
Jennifer. Good luck with
buddy.
tomorrow.
Bye. See you
Bye.
all.
See ya. Hey Kim, if you watch this, we miss you.
Yeah.
See you
Good night,
guys.
everyone.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good week or a couple weeks.
But I can't get.